Disney was founded in 1923, and since then, they've slowly tightened their ungodly gorilla grip on generations of families all around the world. They've dabbled in animation, live action, movies, TV shows, amusement parks, man, the whole 9 yards. They might as well have the Infinity Gauntlet since they own so much stuff. Disney is mostly known for their beautifully animated movies with relatable and impactful stories. Let me give you some basic examples. The Lion King. A king dies in an accident and his son feels responsible for his death. His son now must overcome the fear of taking the responsibility of becoming the next king. Finding Nemo. A father loses his son and goes on an adventure across the ocean to find him. Up. The first 10 minutes? Are you... Now, what if we put the animation and the impactful story in a Souls-like? But what exactly is a Souls-like? A Souls-like is a subgenre of action role-playing games known for high levels of difficulty and emphasis on environmental storytelling. The subgenre has become more popular over the years due to From Software's success with games like the Dark Souls franchise, Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice, and Elden Ring. Now, games like Nioh 1 and 2, Remnant 2, Lords of the Fallen, Wulong Fallen Dynasty, and more have added their own seasoning to the Souls-like subgenre. But there's one game that not many people seem to talk about, and that's Kena: Bridge of Spirits. So let's start with the Disney-like graphics. This game is one of the most beautiful games I've played in a while because of the way the animation style is. Like, it just brings like the inner child in me out, and I just wanted to get into this game because of how beautiful the graphics were. Look at this, this is just beautiful. Like, look at this, look at this. Like, who made this game? Ember Labs? I don't know who Ember Labs is, but them motherfuckers was cooking, bruh. You've got these beautiful, different cutscenes, environments, animations, like there's mountain ranges, farmlands, caves, forests, like all these landscape views. The fighting animations, bro, they are bussin'. Just look at this animation. Isn't this just badass? Like, are you kidding me? Like, this is so sick. And there are these cute little creatures called Rot. And they're part of the story, but just look at them. Look at them. They're so cute and adorable. And there's like so many of them. It's like being attacked by a bunch of puppies, but it's Rot instead. You've got these corrupted areas that show, what's going on and what's wrong with the environment. And then after you clear them, in some of the buildings, you can see, it's abandoned and something looks off. And it's obvious that people used to live here. Like, when it came to the visuals of this whole game, just chef's kiss. Like, the Ember Labs just did such a great job with the art direction in this game, and I just cannot praise them enough. So let's get into the story. We play as Kena. Kena is a spirit guide that helps troubled spirits move onto the spirit world. We're trying to get to the mountain shrine, but we must help the troubled spirits in the village first before we get there. Along the journey to help these spirits, we collect these adorable little creatures called Rot, which I mentioned earlier, by the way, and they help us along the way by assisting with puzzles and making us stronger in combat. And one of the best parts about this game, we can give them hats! Oh my god, it's so adorable! To help these troubled spirits along this journey, we must find 3 memories to help remind them of why they're troubled, and each lost spirit story is sad, relatable, and touching. The first spirit we help is Taro. A sickness spreading through the village killed his parents, and he is the only one left to take care of his little brothers, Benny and Saya. He travels with his brothers to visit a friend, Rusu, for help, but he tells them to go back to the village. Taro lost his brothers in the forest on the way back to the village, and hasn't stopped looking for them since. The next spirit we help is Adira. The same sickness spreading throughout the village is also killing the crops and wildlife, leaving the village with a finite amount of food left. Adira is the village's woodsmith, and she combines the land's mystical energy with her woodsmithing to make technology for the village with her partner, Hana. Hana decides to leave the village by boat to find food and supplies for the village. She never made it back, but Adira refuses to leave the village without Hana. Last but not least, we have Toshi. Toshi is the village leader, and he is trying to help his village while the sickness is spreading through the land. The village elder Zadro recommends Toshi to move the entire village to a new home because the sickness is a natural cycle of life. Toshi refuses to leave his village, so he confronts the rot god, yes, the same rots that we've been collecting the entire game, atop the mountain to try to remove the sickness. Toshi kills the rot god, causing an explosion that kills all of the village's inhabitants, including Taro, Benny, Saya, Rusu, Adira, Zajiro, and himself. Toshi refuses to leave his village in such disarray. The game has touching stories about forgiving oneself and moving on, and that's a beautiful message that we can all learn from, to be honest. But my only issue with the game and the story is our main character isn't that interesting. Now, of course, Kina is, kind and understanding because she's, a spirit guide, but it doesn't go any deeper than that. I only remember one moment from the game that made me relate with the character. After she's been, helping these spirits move on, she feels this loneliness that these spirits are moving on and she's just left behind, waiting to, meet the next spirit to move on. And I get that, but it doesn't go any deeper than that, and I really wish that it did, since she experiences so many people and just helps them in different ways and understands them in deeper ways. That's all I really remember, at least. I don't know, I might be wrong, whatever. So, alright. This game has a beautiful Pixar-like art style with a very touching story that looks like it appeals to family-friendly audience, I guess. But what about the title? Where's the souls like? So we're in a dark cave with pretty blue lights. We're learning the controls. You have a single jump and a double jump, a light attack, heavy attack, magic shield that blocks with stamina, parry, a dive roll. Sounds pretty familiar to something. I don't know what it is. I don't know. The game puts us in a combat scenario to teach us the combat. Everything seems standard so far, but then I get hit. Wait, that's a pretty decent chunk for one hit from a small enemy. What's my difficulty on? Yeah, that's normal. What? No, yeah, spirit guide. Yeah, that's normal. What's going on? I proceed on and get into another combat scenario. Huh. 2 hits and I'm practically half health? These are just regular low tier enemies, and they only really need a couple hits to just send me back to the last checkpoint. What the f, dude? About 30 minutes into the game, we get into a boss battle. Seems like a skill check. Sounds familiar. I don't know.
Fight back, nigga! Fight back, nigga! Fight back!
Oh, okay. All right. Run it back. So to continue the story, we explore, collect items, solve puzzles, fight different enemies, and clear corruption. The arsenal grows the further you get into the story, with the addition of a bow, a bomb, and a dash. The skill tree is small when you first look at it, but there are more than enough upgrades in that tree to help you in combat. For example, you can use the rot to power up your melee attacks, to give it a bigger hitbox, and to do more damage. You can also use the same rot to power up your bow and arrow to make it a piercing shot so that it'll go through multiple enemies. And you can upgrade your bomb, and on explosion it will create a super slow fuel area thing that just makes everything slow. With all the different skills that you're getting after playing the game for a couple hours, the diverse amount of common enemies aren't really a problem anymore. The different bosses that we fight throughout the game are the main ones stopping us in our tracks. Yes, I know they're bosses, they're supposed to be difficult, but there's a very noticeable difficulty spike when you're fighting them, and that's really frustrating. The game has 16 bosses, and each boss has their own unique look and moveset. Sprout, Kappa, Wood Knight, Sprout Captain, Mage, Shrine Guardian, Corrupt Taro,
Watch out!
Vine Knight, Stone Guardian, Rod Eater,
Man, this is some bullshit!
Corrupt Woodsmith. Oh, what the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? Mask Maker, Warrior.
Hey, bro, watch your jet. Watch your jet, bro. Watch your jet!
Hunter.
Helicopter!
Corrupt Toshi.
Nope.
Corrupt Rod God. A couple of hits from any of these bosses and you're dead. You better explore and collect things from the map To upgrade your skill tree, you better go to meditation spots to increase your maximum health. You better utilize all of your skill tree upgrades. And you better lock in and put your Crocs in sports mode. So after finishing Kena Bridge of Spirits, is it really a Souls-like? Kinda. I mean, the game has similar elements, but I wouldn't call it a Souls-like if you're playing on a difficulty like normal or easier. But if you up the difficulty, it's gonna feel like a Souls-like and you're getting your cheeks clapped. The combat can be a little difficult at times and the bosses are challenging despite the game's initial vibe. But if you're struggling, you can always lower your difficulty and have a less frustrating experience. I stayed on normal because the game wasn't that hard. If I were to compare this game to something else, I'd say it's Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, but easier. The game is a sweet and short experience that took me about 15 hours to finish. That includes all the trials completed, most of the achievements unlocked, and a bit of collectibles left uncollected. I love this game, and I recommend that you play it. It's only $40 right now, and that's definitely worth the money to me. But what do I know? I'm just some guy on the internet.